Hello everyone, welcome along to our Upstream Battle Live lesson. Thanks to everyone who've put in their school name and the number of pupils that are taking part. I'm Arlo, I'm going to be running the lesson today. We're going to start in just a second, and anyone who's not put in their information, please do so now. If you can't see or hear me and have any technical issues, the next two slides do just have the recommendations on how to do it. Otherwise, my colleague Nicola is here to help. So, welcome along. Today we're going to be investigating marine litter in Scotland. Going to be looking at how these issues are impacting people in Scotland and in the areas where there's large amounts of litter. We're going to be looking at how our litter gets from its source to its sink, meaning its final destination, usually the sea. I'm hoping this class is going to inspire you to take part in our Upstream Battle art competition, which is very exciting. First of all, we're going to have a short video from pupils in Arrochar.
Welcome to Arrochar. Arrochar looks beautiful, but when you take a closer look, you see our big problem. We have a litter crisis. Every year we get lots of litter arriving. The beach makes me sad because it is so dirty. It hurts us and our environment.
For years and years we have been trying to remove the litter.
And it's unfair. We are not making this mess.
I find it disappointing that people choose to litter.
Our wildlife must climb over litter, and they often get hurt and trapped in the waste. We get so much litter that it is impossible to fix it on our own.
If you want to help Arrochar, please take your litter home.
Give your litter a lift!
So hopefully that short video set the scene of the litter problem that's happening in Arrochar. We've got lots of litter arriving, and this is actually just a small village, and it's on the west coast of Scotland, which is within our beautiful national park of Loch Lomond. They do just get significantly more litter than most places in Scotland. So this picture here is of Arrochar, and what I want you to think about just now is what you can see in terms of the habitats. So in Arrochar they do have a marine loch at the centre, there's broadleaf and conifer woodlands, there's mountains, there's also crags, which are kind of rocky cliff faces, which are particularly good for certain bird species. And we've got shrubland and urban development, as well as an estuary, which means fresh water is meeting saline water. So in this case, we've got a stream that meets the marine loch. So considering all these habitats, plus anything you might see in this photo, what wildlife do you think is in Arrochar? I'll give you a minute to have a think about it, and then could you please put in the chat what your answers are? Cows? Yeah, cows tend to be livestock rather than wildlife specifically, but yes. Foxes and birds, yeah, fish. Lots of birds, yeah. We do get lots of birds. Rabbits. Ducks, yeah, we saw the ducks in the video, well done. They're clearly paying good attention there. Seals, yeah, I love seals. Beavers, I think there's beavers down there these days. Beavers we didn't know have been introduced into Scotland for the first time in a few hundred years. Salmon, hedgehogs, otters, yeah, otters are very cute. Bogs and newts, yeah, we do get them as well. Honeybees, mice, yeah, so many good answers are coming in just now. Crabs, yeah. Geese. Basking sharks and common dolphins, those are really good answers. Midges, yeah, we do get a lot of midges, but very important. Swans, yeah, probably a good few grumpy swans down at the loch side, I think. So you guys are giving me amazing answers. Here are some other, oops, sorry, gone one slide too far there. Some of the species that some of you said, some of you didn't. So we've got our grey seal, which someone mentioned, black grouse. The little fish is called a goby. And we've got our common dolphin, which actually this is a bottlenose dolphin. Got humpbacks, red squirrels, a leatherback turtle. We get a lot of different species of reptile, but only a few species of turtle. We've got black guillemots, mussels, like someone has said. Crab, someone mentioned. This is specifically as a mud crab, I believe, or an edible crab. And the second last vote was actually a lot of different organisms that live underwater. Sometimes we get thinking about animals above the water or ones that we can see, but underneath we got things like anemones, starfish, the crabs like we mentioned, and I think someone also mentioned jellyfish. Yeah, that's a good one as well. And of course, our stag. So amazing answers, everyone. I want to take a second, have a think how you would describe this photo. This is a photo of Arrochar, and I want you to just take a second, have a think, and what do you think about and how would you describe this photo? And get back to me in the chat, please. Peaceful? Yeah, very peaceful. I'd say beautiful, mossy. Yeah, woodland. Yeah, you can see some woodland in the background. Yeah, people are getting a lot of kind of calming vibes from this photo. I would agree. It's quite peaceful, a broken dock and a dirty beach. Well, see, that's interesting because I quite like the dock. I think it kind of reminds us of a past activity that maybe occurred there. Polluted, yeah, you've seen it's polluted, refreshing, beautiful and calm. Rocky, yeah, there is some nice wee rocks down there which probably have some good mussels hanging about on it. Lovely mountains. It is really lovely mountains. Gets referred to as the Arrochar Alps, in fact, in this area. So yeah, we've got some really good answers there. So thinking of all these things that we've think of this image, and I want you to compare that of how you would describe the next image. So what are you thinking now? You've had this nice image here that you feel is quite nice, but now we've moved on to this image. What do you describe this one as? Dirty, full of litter, damage. Yeah, there's lots of different things going on there. Messy, grey. It is a bit grey, isn't it? Plasticky. That's a good word. Yeah, plasticky. Horrible and smelly. Oh, it must be a good photo as you can smell the smell just through the screen. Scrappy. I like that. It does look a bit scrappy, a bit thrown together and not as well cared for. A dump, yeah. It kind of gives that energy of not being the less well cared for, things have just been left there. These answers are really good. There's so many of them coming through. And yeah, hurtful to wildlife. So we know all these lovely photos and bad photos can make you have different opinions of the space. We're moving on to someone said plasticky. This is a map of Scotland looking at microplastics which have been on the water. So the circles indicate how much microplastics there is per kilometre. So if you imagine a square, it's just a 1 by 1 square, and that's the area that was surveyed. So thinking of how many circles and how big the circles are, and pay attention to the microplastic key in the bottom left. What place, A, B, or C, do you think has the most plastic at it? So look at the circles, maybe look at what colour the circles are, and then put A, B, or C in the chat. So a few A's, a C. Yeah, so most people are saying A. So if you're thinking A, you're correct. A is actually Arrochar. So if you were paying attention to the first map I showed, you would maybe have recognised it. So A has the most, followed by B because it's got a dark-ish blue circle. C has lots of small green ones, meaning that there's a bit less litter collection over there. So here we've got zoomed in version of A, and what you can see in it is that it's not just got the largest and darkest circle, but it's got several of them all layered upon each other because there's so much litter there that they have to go beyond the template that they gave. So this one here, you can see that it's got two dark blue circles that mean that each one is got at least 70,000 items of litter, and there's two of them, so that means there's 140,000 pieces of litter. So there's all this litter coming to Arrochar and to other parts of Scotland, but Arrochar's got the biggest problem. Where is this litter coming from? Take a second, have a think, maybe talk to your partner. This one's a bit of a tricky question, and then get back to me in the chat. Think about, yeah, so where is people? Think about geography, so maybe what area, what's causing the litter to arrive. Currents, yeah, that's a great answer. Humans, yeah, we do just cause the problem, unfortunately. People who leave their picnic litter, yeah, that's a good. If you're taking a picnic, make sure you take everything with you. You're doing anything, take your litter with you. Invasive humans, yeah, we do. And wind blowing litter, that's a good answer. Yeah, wind causes a lot of issues. It travels by river and sea. That is fantastic answer. Correct. Yes, it does travel by wind and sea. Drains, yeah, so we get lots of drains that are going into the water and litter just gets flooded straight into it, or if it overflows, it can go into different waterways. Blowing from full bins, yeah, if your bins are full, take your litter away because if it's full, it's just going to blow about and your effort to put it in the bin will just be unfortunately wasted. Any litter being dumped into the Clyde further up, fantastic answer. It is exactly right. People not taking care of area drainage as litter gets caught in the pipes. Boats, yeah, these are amazing answers. Well done, everyone. So yeah, you've kind of covered a really, really good array of answers. One of the parts you didn't mention is, so the litter is not only just coming from people and things, but it is from not just Scotland, it's all over the world, and over 60,000 items arrive in Arrochar every year. So it's a lot of litter. And not only is it a lot of litter that's coming from places where we can't take control of that, it's just coming from everywhere. However, the majority of it is coming from the land rather than the sea. And although I said a lot of it's coming from all over the world, what isn't is there's about 1.2 tonnes coming from the Irish Sea and the Clyde annually. And especially the Clyde, this is where we can really focus on trying to improve the amount of waste that actually ends up in Arrochar. Because if we are changing how much is going into the Clyde, it will reduce how much ends up in Arrochar. So we've got our lovely crisp packet here that was unfortunately dropped in Glasgow, and he's going to go on a journey to hopefully somewhere we'd hope was a bin, but we'll see. Here's our crisp packet in Glasgow. He sadly was dropped in Glasgow and has been blown into the Clyde. Here's some of his friends as well. They're all getting washed downstream. Like someone said in the chat, the things that get put in the Clyde up river get washed down. Under the water, our crisp packet is joined by lots of other things. Does anyone notice things that should or maybe shouldn't be in this image under the water? What do you think? Get us a message in the chat if you have an answer. Trolley? Yeah. Don't think trolleys belong underwater. Bottle? Yeah. Plastic bottles. The animals may get stuck. Yeah. So this crab looks like he's going for a little wander inside the trolley. Coffee cups and cans, plastic, yeah, lots of it. Plastic rings, yeah. These days, thankfully, we don't get as many plastic rings, but they're still quite bad because animals get trapped, as one of the classes said. Does anyone see things that you'd want to see in the water? What might you like to have in the water? Fish? Yeah, we want our fish in the water, don't we? Crabs, fish and seaweed? Yeah, we want our seaweed. Rocks, yeah, rocks are good. Well done, because we might forget about them, but rocks, clean sand, yeah, let's pretend the sand is not as clean as it looks. Water, yeah, that's a good one. We do want water in our river. The turtle, did I put a turtle in here? We might see a turtle, but later on upstream. So, great answers. Our crisp packet is going to be moving along downstream. And here he is. And we've got these arrows, which are going to be showing ravine transport. And that sounds like a big word, but it just means the movement of the water, which might move sediment, so like sand or rocks, and organic matter and non-organic matter, things like our crisp packets. Sorry. Whee! So our crisp packet's been getting moved downstream, and I'm noticing there's a bit more litter there, but do you notice what maybe the animals are doing in this one? Or is there anything that you think is particularly of interest in this one? Eating the plastic, eating the bottles, yeah. So if our fish are eating all this plastic, what do you think is going to happen if a fisherman then catches that fish and then you've gone to get a fish and chips at the chip shop? Do you think it's going to be a nice good fish, or do you think there's going to be problems with that fish if it's been eating lots of plastic? Getting tangled in the rubbish? Yeah, well then plastic will be in our food. Yeah, so even if we're not going and sitting and eating a plastic bag, which would be very silly, um, we're going to get the plastic anyway because the fish will eat it and then we eat the fish. The fish won't grow as well. The fish won't grow as well. There's chemicals, as another class has said, that aren't good. And if the fish is not able to get enough food because it's been eating plastic, it won't be a very healthy fish. It is unhealthy for us to eat too. Don't eat plastic. So yeah, our crisp packet, he's moved downstream and he's continuing his journey. And this is where he's arrived. Now, this is meant to represent Arrochar, and, well, can anyone see what's happened to our crisp packet? Who can spot the crisp packet? Yeah, Seagull's got it, hasn't it? So our herring gull here has got it in his beak, and seagulls often will be very opportunistic and they will eat crisps quite a lot. You might have seen the funny video of the seagull stealing them from Greg's. The other part of it is that they might make their nest from it, which isn't good for their offspring, but it also just they're going to eat bits of it and it's really not good for it. The same as the fish, except we do not tend to eat gulls. Anyone notice anything else? What do you notice that the animals are doing in the litter? Do you see anything in particular that is good or bad? There's a seal, yeah. Yeah, there's a fish getting trapped, unfortunately. Really good answer, yeah. So we've got a seagull that's picked up something. One of the birds is a gannet, the other one is a herring gull, and the black bird is called a cormorant. Yeah, the birds are eating the rubbish, so birds will often use rubbish, as I said, in nests, or they might eat it. Unfortunately, the babies may get it. Crab picking up a plastic bag. Yeah, so the crab's going to be eating bits of plastic or breaking it down. It's not particularly good. Yeah, so many good answers are coming in. Yeah, there's more rubbish than fish, really, isn't there, at this point? Amazing answers, everyone. So, like I said, our crisp packet was dropped in Glasgow, which is our source. Yeah, lots of plastic bottles. Well done, everyone. And the crisp packet is going to go on a journey as represented here. Whee! And he arrives here at the pinpoint, which is Arrochar, and this is our sink. So the slides we just shown are basically envisaging this journey and how he might be encountered along the way. So we've kind of covered that there's lots of litter there. We've covered how things are moving along, but really, why is it so much getting just trapped in Arrochar? So this here in blue is the shape of the Firth of the Clyde, and basically what you can see here is the water can funnel in from just below Greenock, and it actually just ends up at dead ends, so there's nowhere for the litter to come back out to. The other problem is, it's not really a problem in fact, it's just that the spin of the earth, it goes in an easterly direction, therefore it's pushing the currents to go in a certain direction, which then pushes up the water into the Firth of the Clyde, which brings along lots of litter. To exacerbate it any further, meaning to make it worse, we get lovely hot wind that comes from the south, which again pushes up all the water towards the Firth of the Clyde and pushes the water towards Arrochar again. And someone else said this is with the Clyde coming in to the Firth of the Clyde, it's anything that gets dropped upstream gets washed downstream. So it goes through loads of industrial areas, it goes through Glasgow, the biggest city in Scotland, so lots and lots of people and lots of rubbish that will get washed in. And there's lots of different things that get affected by litter, and one of them is our heritage. Unfortunately, in Arrochar at least, the amount of litter has contributed significantly to the loss of seaweed harvesting, which in the 18th and 19th century was one of Scotland's biggest industries. The plastic now is completely intertwined and it's basically not able to be used for fertiliser and it can't be separated. So what's the problem going on with the seaweed? Jackie tried to separate it out for us and she had quite a challenge. So Jackie, like with the map, drew a square in the ground, a metre by metre, and dug to about 30 centimetres deep, collected it all. And these are the close-ups of some of the litter, and it is filthy. It is just so dense of litter, and it took over 10 hours to get to the final stage on the image. But the plastic was still completely mixed in, and despite removing over 7,000 items of litter, so it's a lot, and it still wasn't, the job just was not done. So aside from this survey that Jackie did, they also took part in collecting litter from the beach with volunteers. This one actually, even though they had 40 volunteers, had only around 5,000 pieces of litter, because they don't take as much microplastics, and that's a significant amount. What do you notice about this pie chart that you the what do you notice about this pie chart and what's making up the most litter? Yeah, so that's kind of is mostly plastic. A huge amount of plastic. That's probably, I guess, maybe 95% plastic. Um, and you can see from the audit they collected 99 kilos. So a lot. That could be easily about 90 kilos of plastic just from a 10-meter stretch of beach. So we know it's affecting litter. We know litter is affecting heritage. We know it's affecting the wildlife, but what's the effect on people? I'm really happy to introduce some pupils from Arrochar Primary, and I am going to be going live to them just now. Hello,
Okay.
Arrochar Primary.
Hello. Hello, Arlo Live Lesson, everyone. Hello, everyone out there. It's brilliant to be here with you today. It is a gorgeous day in Arrochar, and I am so lucky to be here with 4 pupils from Arrochar Primary School. You'll have to squeeze in so that everyone can see you if you want to wave hello.
Maybe let's go back.
They've been spending the morning on the beach today, having a look around, looking at what the situation is, and filming some entries for our Young Reporters program and for the art competition that's coming up later on for Upstream Battle. So I know that they have some thoughts about what they've seen and heard today, so I'm going to, without further ado, turn it over to them so they can explain what they've seen and heard today. First person, please. Just come a bit closer so we can see you. Right, now, what would you think about what you've seen today?
Well, I think it's horrible because we're not able to play on this beach anymore. I know 50 years ago we could have been able to swim around here, but just we've tried and tried, but it's not possible to remove all this litter.
Mm-hmm. That's horrible. Would you like to add anything else? No? Right. Come on up. Just make sure everyone can see you okay. There we go. What do you think of what you've seen and heard today?
Well, I think that it's very messy here, and it needs to be changed soon. And yeah, as somebody was saying,
Right.
it was quite like 50 years ago. Everyone could be swimming here,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's pretty messy and we can't swim, and it's not fun anymore.
You sound really frustrated by that.
I am.
Yeah. All right. Who's next? Right. What are your thoughts about what you've been looking at today?
I think it's really bad because like it's covering like the plastic and all the pollution is like covering all the natural like sticks and like other things, and like I'd really like to come and play here, but I can't because it's just covered with plastic and all.
It can't be good for wildlife habitat either, all of that plastic in the way.
No, it's really bad.
You know? And what would you like someone to do about this? What do you think should be done?
Like a big litter box, like maybe the people from the community could come and like help, and then slowly, over time, it would like disappear. We'd collected it all.
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that it's the people in the community that are doing a lot of the work to clean it up, but it's really not them that the litter's coming from?
Well, it's a little frustrating because like there's so much that's coming from other people, and maybe like if it came from a house and the people from that house didn't come and clean it up, it'd be really frustrating for that.
Yeah, because it's coming from out there, and I don't know if people on the screen can see the bay and the entrance there, and that's where all the litter's coming from. Sir, I think you have some thoughts about today's activities, if you'd like to share. Come on over, see if everyone can see you. There you go.
I just would like to say, like I used to live here, but I moved, and this place was lovely, and we're like dealing with litter, which is like partially our fault, but it might be coming from somewhere else, and it's not our problem.
Yeah, it is everyone's problem and no one's fault at the same time, right? No one person or one So it's really hard to figure out who's responsible. I see you've been doing some writing. You said you were feeling pretty frustrated by everything that's going on this morning, right?
I'm really frustrated. Uh, it's just like you could walk around, like if the tide's really low, you could walk around the beach.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's coming all up, and whenever you like take a step, it makes like a real crunchy noise.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all the litter and stepped on. There's like milk cartons.
Yep. There's all sorts down there, and it is a real shame because this is such a beautiful spot, and it's somewhere that I think a lot of people would stop and have their lunch or go for a nice walk or play on the shore, but that's really not possible here because of all of the litter that we're dealing with. Would anyone like to add anything else before we hand back to Arlo? Yes.
So I've lived here all of my life, and every time I come to Arrochar with some of my friends, there's a horrible smell coming from it because of the seaweed mixing with all the plastic.
Mm-hmm.
It makes this horrible smell,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes people not want to come because they're all like, "Oh, what's that smell? I bet this place is super dirty," and it is, but it needs cleaned up soon.
It does. Well, you heard it here, folks. A bunch of young people expressing their frustration at the situation that's going on and describing what a huge mess it is. And it's a shame because they're missing out on spending time in a beautiful location just because of this litter problem. So I hope that that inspires everyone who is taking part in our live lesson today to think about your creation for the art competition and the rest of your learning today. Thanks, Arlo. Back to you.
Thank you very much. I think everyone there did an amazing job, so thank you so much for being amazing and giving us a wonderful interview. Yeah, it is very sad and unfortunate situation, and as you can see, it really is affecting the people who live there, and obviously, as we've mentioned, it affects other aspects too, like animals and wildlife and nature. So we've got this big problem. Hopefully, you've been thinking and listening to what they said. What do you think we can really do about this litter problem? Have a nice think, and please get back to us in the chat. Yeah, stop littering. Easy, if we all stop littering. Yeah, don't buy as much plastic, put it in the bin. Spreading the word about how damaging litter is, yeah. More litter pickers. Yeah, they said they would love to have a really big community litter pick. Have a national litter picking day. Yeah, if every single person stopped what they were doing, went and picked up litter, we'd probably see that people would actually stop littering more, wouldn't we? Because people would be like, oh, this isn't great, is it? Reduce the amount of plastic bought, reduce, reuse, recycle. Yeah. So many good answers are coming in. Keep, whoa, I think it's always like, yeah, take your litter home. Yeah. Take your litter home, like they said in the first video. Ban plastics. So I think we need some, but yeah, we should really reduce the amount of plastics significantly, make people aware of the effects in Arrochar, work together to maintain the place. Yeah, we do need to work together. These are really, really good answers. Biodegradable products, fine for people littering. There's fines already, unfortunately. It doesn't work too well. So these are great answers. So the activities to combat litter, like you said, some of these answers you've already said because you're all so amazing. So sorting our waste into its correct, responsible disposal, reusing, recycling, as people are saying there. But there's lots of different categories, and we need to make sure that every item we have is going to be used to its most effective. So refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose, and recycle. It's 5 R's now because we understand that refusing the item means that we don't actually then have to go to the next steps. So we want to refuse taking it in the first place. We also, as people were saying, doing litter picks. So clean up litter not just in Arrochar, but if you're cleaning up litter in your area, like we said, it can come from really far away. So if you do it in your area, it will be able to help reduce the amount that's actually ending up in Arrochar. And the easy one that people were saying, stop littering. If we all stopped, the litter just wouldn't be there. It is a human problem that it's only one bit of litter, but that one bit of litter is everyone's problem because it builds up. And we can write letters. So letter adverts and campaigns on TV, yeah, those are good. That's a good answer. I don't have that one here. But writing letters, so maybe to your local councillors, your members of parliament, just even people in your community, to make them aware of the issue and try and encourage them in getting involved. Talking to your friends and your family and just whoever wants to know about the issue. And don't be afraid to talk about it because it is a big issue and it can be a bit sad sometimes. But if we talk about it, we can come up with better ideas to how to fix the solution and we can do it together. And you're all here, so you're all doing this one right now. So do take part in the upstream battle and hopefully in the art competition as well. So I think you guys will be getting these all right because you've all been really good answering these questions. We've got a quiz. So get your brains thinking. And question one, it's all going to be true or false. 70% of litter on Scottish shores is plastic. True or false? Got quite a few answers coming in just now, mostly saying true, a few falses. False 95%, false 90%. Oh, someone's got different statistics. So based on a survey, the article that I read, it's true. 70% of plastic on Scottish shores. The 90% I think was the survey from Arrochar, but overall it's 70%. But very well done in listening in the earlier slides. Plastic is harmful to the environment. True or false? Answers are flying in. Yeah, a nice easy one. True. It's very harmful to the environment. Doesn't break down and affects all aspects of life, unfortunately. Okay, question 3. Arrochar gets the same amount of litter as everywhere in Scotland. True or false? Yeah, answer's fine. And again, false. Arrochar gets significantly more litter for the reasons we were talking about in this lesson. There's the shape of the firth, there's the winds, the spin of the earth, and obviously the Clyde. So yeah, false gets a lot more. Litter can travel a long way from the source. True or false? Think about back to our crisp packet and where we were saying the litter was coming from. Yeah, answers coming in. True. Yeah, litter can travel very, very far. Amazing answering, everyone. I think most people there got all of them correct. Maybe I'd say everyone got an A there. Well done. So I've been mentioning our upstream battle competition, and hopefully you've all been very inspired from the lesson and from hearing directly from the pupils. So what are the next steps in this? Hopefully you will take on a litter survey and investigation into your area and create afterwards a source to sea pathway. In this case, we're doing from your school or your area to Arrochar, and then we have a campaigning through art workshop in January, which should be very exciting, done by Kat, who we heard in Arrochar. So you want to know what you're going to create, and this art form can be any shape or form. So we've got a selection here, but it's not limited to that. If you wanted to create a play and send us the video of it, would be amazing. Anything. There's guidelines on the website which we have already passed on. So hopefully this has got your minds all going and you'll be excited to create something. These are some of our previous entries. So we've had a video, which is the first one. We've got my personal favourite, which is a palette that shows a source and that this ends up all in the ocean, no matter which way the source comes from. And the other one is litter and nature together to create a mural, which I think is also very cool. So we've got a prize, which is obviously very exciting, but it wouldn't be a good competition without prizes. So our wonderful runners-up will get a class trip to Arrochar for our upstream battle event. They'll be able to talk about their piece and get the opportunity to meet pupils and discuss the issue, which is very exciting. And here's some of the photos from previous upstream battle events. Winners will also go to the event, but they also get an amazing trip to see the Sea Life Aquarium in Balloch. So all to work very hard for, and we look forward to seeing all of your entries. I'd like to thank everyone for all the beautiful photos and the pupils to make this presentation possible. And thank you all for attending today. I hope you've had a really good time and you've learned a lot. And we look forward to seeing your entries in the future. All the best, everyone.